We interviewed you and your daughter about 20 days ago. Since that interview 20 days ago, has anyone, the Loudoun County School Board or LCPS, reached out to you to help your daughter?
No, no help whatsoever. We have emailed them every single day since we spoke with you. We know other news outlets have reached out to them, other members of the community, and they have hid behind the idea that because we're in a um, legal action that they can't speak to us, which is not true. We have given them ample opportunities to have the lawyers sit down. We will sit down with them. There are so many ways they could fix this situation. And they refuse to recognize that we even exist.
Tryouts are tomorrow. Tryouts are Tuesday. Right now it's Monday. If the school board doesn't take action today, what happens with Lily and her hopes to play lacrosse?
It gets very muddied. Right now, we have been told by the county she is ineligible to try out. So she can't show up for tryouts. She is not allowed to step foot on a field as a member of a team or participate in any activity. It's not even just lacrosse. Anything that she's participated in at her previous school, they're forbidding her from participating in. It will become a lot more challenging because the longer this goes, the more we need from the county to help us make sure that she's rostered on a team. And as we've seen for the last 9 months, they don't want to help her.
And how is Lily doing right now with all of this?
She's struggling. It's really hard to be a teenager in 2024. It's especially hard having gone through what these kids went through during COVID. I mean, she started high school in our upstairs bedroom. She just wants a happy ending to her high school experience, and having gone through bullying and abuse and ostracization and ignoring, but not just members of the lacrosse team, but also she just wasn't happy at her old school. And staring down 4 more months of high school when you didn't get help from the people who were supposed to help you. What's been very disappointing, it's all been disappointing, Nick, but we've seen the county tout their belief in mental health, and they've had conferences on how important it is to play sports when you need to benefit your mental health, and to ignore a student who's asking them to help her heal. We're staring down a lot more harm to her mental health over the next 4 months.
I believe the last time we spoke with you and Lily expressed that she felt like she's being punished for just trying to help her mental health when she decided to transfer schools. Does she still feel that way?
Oh, definitely. She's been bullied since this became part of public knowledge. She's still getting bullied, being told that people are talking about her. And so yeah, everything. And it just keeps being brought back up. And I think what people don't realize, and I've heard from people say, oh, she should have been tougher. She should have been able to stand up to her bullies. And that's just such an obvious misunderstanding of what mental health issues are like. And so one of the things we're really trying to get the county to see is we're not taking care of our kids. We're not putting policies in place that stop these kids from getting bullied. We're not doing the best we can for the kids that need the help the most. So yeah, she's been continuing to being punished for standing up for herself and getting out of a situation for which the only solution was leaving. The location, the where her bullies were and the activities that she participated with them in, they were never going to get better. And so she had to leave. And the county refuses to look at it as a situation they can fix. They just are going to legalese and muddy their way out of this situation and refuse to take responsibility for it.
What happens next? Because I understand there's something happening Friday.
Yes, so we are scheduled to have a hearing in Loudoun County Circuit Court on Friday. The subject of the hearing is we've sought a temporary restraining order against the county so that they can't enforce the denial of participation against her. What the county is going to argue, and I think this is really important for residents all over Loudoun County to understand, the county is arguing that because they give these decisions to a 3-member select committee, that decision is therefore not appealable by anyone. And I think that is a really serious argument they are making going forward. It's not just about Lily. What they are saying is if they don't want a decision they make to be reviewed according to the policies that are laid out in Virginia code, they'll just send it to a select committee and no one can do anything about it. And that seems dangerous. All the issues that are coming up for our kids and in our school systems right now, to allow the county to subvert a third-party review can't be a good idea, especially a group of people who all ran on the importance of transparency. They ran on the importance of being open and working together as a community. And now they want their taxpayers and their students to let them make decisions that can't be reviewed by anyone else.
So this 9-member Loudoun County School Board, they're fairly new. In January, they were all sworn in. How do you feel about your school board, your elected officials right now, given the circumstances? And how often you and your husband and your family friends have reached out to them on this matter?
Yeah. We had such high hopes, and I've heard that from other people in the county, that we had such hopes that this board was going to be different. They have shown to be exactly the same as the people they replaced, which is so unfortunate because we're not asking for all that much. We're asking for them to apply the policies as they are laid out. We're asking them to follow the rules, but they're making the rules up as they go. So to be ignored by the people that you're entrusting your child's education to is pretty damaging. That to me is the worst part of it, that they have hidden behind the lawsuit, that they have hidden behind their staff's recommendations and done nothing on their own. For all we know, they haven't read a single email we've sent to them, a single email that 50 to 60 constituents have sent to them. It's so disappointing that they sought these positions under the guise of doing what's right for the students, and they've ignored mental health over and over. We've spoken at 3 board meetings, and to know that they're just staring right through you and going to ignore everything you say, it's a hard pill to swallow.
How many emails do you think you've sent to LCPS, the school board, the athletic director, the superintendent?
We've also, so to the superintendent, we've reached out to the director of mental health services at least 6 times. She has never responded to a single reach out. I would say 40 emails, 50 emails. We've tried everything. To be ignored by the director of mental health services when she has just spoken to the board about how important athletics are and mental health, it's mind-blowing. It just doesn't make any sense. None of it. We can only imagine that they need to be right and their staff needs to be right. The sad part is I don't think the board is really driving this. I think there are some members of the staff that want this done the way it's being done because they made the decision in the summer and they need it. They need to be right.
Is there anything else you'd like? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, but for the board to ignore all of it, for all we know, the board's never even asked a question of their staffer. Does this board really want to be the board and the county known for ignoring mental health? Do they really want to be the board that's saying we can listen to VHSL rules, or we don't have to listen to VHSL rules? We can pick the rules we choose to apply. it just doesn't seem, it doesn't make sense. Like there's none of this that I can say, oh, I see why they're doing it that way. They're making it up as they go. They're ignoring mental health and they're not doing their jobs. This is your job. Do it.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think what people don't realize, and if you heard our story, it looks like it's very specific to Lily, but we're hearing from people all over the state, not just in Loudoun County, that Loudoun County is doing this so differently than other people. This doesn't just apply to athletics. It applies to band and chorus and theater and yearbook. So if you look at our story, you might think it's about one kid who wants to play sports at a different high school. It's not. Our story has to do with the treatment of mental health in our teenagers. It has to do with the major problem we have with bullying in our community. It also has to do with a board who's refusing to do their job and is behaving very differently than other counties in this state. And so I think people really need to look at Lily's story as a greater sign of what's happening inside Loudoun County. And are we really okay with the behavior the staff and the board are taking right now?